in quarantine related to COVID. And I thought it was important for us to have a discussion about looking at options that the committee could exercise in ensuring that we can continue to carry out our responsibilities in a safe way, not just for us as members, but for all the other persons who have to appear before us. And so I wanted us to have this discussion, look at the options. In the email that was sent out, there were two options put on the table. One was a hybrid option where we could physically come here and the persons appearing before the committee could do so remotely. I'm now being told by the committee clerk that the IT team at Parliament is now in quarantine. Is that correct? And that option is actually not available because they won't be available to do that function because they are actually in quarantine. The second option would be a virtual meeting. And I would say, frankly, physical would be my first preference because I believe the nature of what we do as a committee lends itself to seeing people face to face. But again, as I said, given the increasing cases, the number of MDAs that may be affected, I wanted us to look at what the options are and see whether we choose one of the options. If we don't have to exercise the option, then we can continue the face-to-face. But I think we are going to get to a stage where we may be forced to do the virtual option. So I'd like to hear from members what their thoughts are on this, and we can make a determination about how we proceed. Go ahead, member.
Chair, I am of the view we could do virtual because there are other committees that are doing virtual. So there's precedent so far that have been set, with, of course, the option at any time for us to have part a hybrid of both where we may come and MDAs may appear virtual, or we may have everybody appearing face-to-face. But I think we should put through the option of having meetings virtual. But at all times, I agree with you, Chair, it is best to have face-to-face meetings. But this is a situation that we have to adjust, and virtual is becoming the new normal. So we need to make the necessary adjustments.
All right, thank you, Member Sibley's. I'd like to hear from the other members here what their thoughts are.
Chairman?
Yes, Member Guy.
My position, Chairman, in as much as I agree with some of the points made by Member Sibley, I think for the nature of the work that we do, I think face-to-face is what is more critical and important in terms of getting a proper and in-depth idea as to what is happening. The option of having a hybrid arrangement is also one that is contemplated. The challenge, and I don't see it insurmountable, is to get approval from the Parliament to get it done. In many instances, the new committees that have the option of meeting virtually, those were done when the committees were created and provisions were made as part of the formation for those committees to have it done. We have seen...
Member Guy, I'm being told that is not so.
Not so?
No, apparently for NIDS and the sexual harassment, they have actually brought resolutions to the Parliament.
All right, fine. Yeah. Well, that even makes it better then. You will recall, Chairman, or you might not, because I don't think you were Chairman at that point, that we had serious resistance to having the Public Accounts Committee and even Parliament being held virtually or having a hybrid arrangement. So I think probably this Parliament is now disposed to having those new arrangements, but personally, I prefer the face-to-face.
Any other members?
Yes, sir, Chair. Thanks very much. I want to agree with my colleague, Member Guy. I don't agree a lot, but I want to agree with him, sir, Chair, that I'll rather the committee meet face-to-face. We understand the pandemic that is upon us, and I think for quite some time now, the Ministry of Labor and Social Security has been out because of the COVID fears with some of their members. But I think adequate time has passed, and members should be in good stead currently. And I'm for the face-to-face for this committee than the viral and the hybrid.
Member Henriquez, Member Charles, Member Wilson, your thoughts?
Chairman, I agree with my colleague Miller, Mr. Miller, his comments, I will just echo those.
Member Charles or Member Wilson, your thoughts?
Well, my preference is face-to-face. I'm assuming that we all here will soon be vaccinated and the rest of the Jamaica will be vaccinated. And I think that the kind of committee that we have and what we discuss, we see more. Body language is important. Understanding what we're saying is important. Sometimes when you speak via Zoom or wherever, it's sometimes misunderstood. I might come across rough versus light, and I just feel like sometimes when we discuss certain things, it's more, we understand each other more in this way. So I think moving forward, we should be coming closer to having a more stable environment where most of us either have been vaccinated or have already had COVID. So I think we're prepared enough to come on and be face-to-face.
Member Wilson.
All right, thanks, Chair. I'll be agreeing with what Member Charles said. With the current program of vaccination, I think will be somewhat inoculate the country in 24 months. And on top of that, I think the nature of the inquiries that we are having, I don't see how it would be as effective if we did it on online platforms. And I just want to put it on record that I'm not against online platforms. It's just the nature of this particular setting and the inquiry and the importance of the entity you chair, which is PSC. I see it would possibly be watered down, for want of a better word, if we put it online. And body language is very important. Meeting together, getting the team together. In no way we are suggesting that people should not follow the protocols by coming to these meetings. But what we are saying is that when the team gathers together, we get a more comprehensive view of how the ministries and departments are operating and how their CEO is effecting change throughout in terms of efficiency and efficient operation. So to cut it short, I am for having the regular meetings face-to-face, similar to Guy and other members.
Thank you. Member Guy, you want to say
Just an addition, Chairman. Sometimes in the Parliament, the subtle social comments are not captured, but they're relevant. The commentary on this side a while ago was the fact that even on these platforms, we might see unparliamentary dress and behavior in terms of having.
All right. Can I ask you, either of you, if you have a view on it, on the matter?
We are here to serve. The Ministry of Finance will fit into whatever the committee decides. As long as it is safe for us to do so, we will be present.
Well, personally, I would always lean towards virtual because of safety, but whatever the committee decides, we will have to facilitate.
Member Chin, I know you just came in, but I wanted to get your view on this matter before we make any decision about how we move forward.
Yeah, morning again, Chair. I really wasn't privy to the previous discussions, but personally, you're speaking specifically to the mode of...
Well, yeah, whether we do virtual, physical, etc. Yes.
I would suggest, personally, I prefer a mixed approach. I mean, the committee can be here, but the persons in the ministries or wherever, whichever entity, are always available in a virtual setting. That's my preference.
Okay, thank you. All right, members from the majority, I would say the majority of members prefer physical only, from what I picked up. As I said at the beginning, physical is definitely my preference based on the inquiring nature of the committee. But I think we have to appreciate
Mr. Chair, you have influence of votes.
No. If I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the majority of you have said physical only. No, I expressed my view. Now, all I'm saying, I'd say 2 points on this. One is that...
Sir Chair, may I recommend in the future that you say your views after everybody has spoken?
I'm still advocating for back road on your behalf, you know. Anyway, that's not for the minutes, just to be clear. That's not for the minutes.
I must say that you could never do this virtually. Remember, we couldn't do this virtually.
Members, I would say 2 things in relation to physical. Members have alluded to the vaccination program, and I would say this, I was always in favor of us as elected reps being vaccinated early because, frankly, the nature of our job requires us to expose ourselves. And I would say being in this house puts us at a risk. It's a centralized air conditioning system where we have to spend many hours. And when we bring everybody in, it's a pretty full house. And, you know, we don't have a choice about whether we come here or not. We have an obligation on behalf of our constituents and the other committees we sit on to be here. So the issue of vaccination, in my view, is a priority for us, even though I know other decisions have been taken in terms of when we will get it. And secondly, we'll also have to accept that there may be times when we schedule meetings, but based on what may happen with the MDAs, we may have to postpone or reschedule, as I said, we have had to do in the past. But my preference absolutely would be to continue face-to-face as the option. And I think we are slightly different from the other joint select committees that are looking at legislation. We are inquiring. I don't want to say it's adversarial, but the nature of it is getting answers to critical questions, which I believe are better done in an environment where you can see the person face to face. So to summarize, we will continue as we are, so we're not bringing any motion to the full house to ask for a virtual sitting, and members will just have to be on standby that if there are scenarios where officials from the MDAs are not able to come because of the current pandemic, then we're going to have to reschedule or postpone. The committee clerk has checked with the Ministry of Labor, and they have confirmed that they are available to come physically next week, Tuesday. So we will resume our full sittings next week, Tuesday at 10 o'clock, where the Ministry of Labor will be here. And then we'll make a determination after that sit-in if we can get through the matters with that ministry and move on, or if we need to bring back the Ministry of Labor again. So that's how we intend to proceed as a committee. Any questions, comments before?
I want to add, Chair, that I do support the point on vaccination. I think the approach by the government is quite accurate using scientific data and by looking at the most at risk. So even though we are politicians and yes, we interact with the public, I think looking at the age groups and how they have categorized it in terms of risk and who are more vulnerable, I think the approach is correct. And I think it's one of the few moments you'll wish you're a bit older so you could get the vaccine. But at the moment, I think we as healthy, young, vibrant politicians and representatives, I think our system is much more capable of coping in any event. Yes, very vibrant.
I mean, let me just say, I'm going to wait my turn, and I don't want to open up the debate about vaccination, but I think it's important that the public also appreciates that every single day, outside of our constituency responsibilities, come in here, which we are required to do.
Point of order, Chairman.
What's the point of order, sir?
My objection is to the member alluding that the older members of parliament are not vibrant.
You're speaking on behalf of Member Henriquez and yourself?
Who is not of the age that needs to take the vaccine first. I just want that clear.
But so members, we will, as I said, we'll continue as we are. We will, whenever our grouping is ready for the vaccination, I'm sure all of us will sign up and go and do it. I'm certainly eager, and I'll do so because I believe it's important, not just for myself and my family, but to my constituents. I think people need to feel comfortable when they see us doing it. So I think all of us have that disposition. I know Member Guy has already gotten as a member of the medical profession, not because of his age, but just as a member of the medical profession, he has gotten his vaccination. So, Dr. Charles, don't you have gotten yours? But you're, yeah, okay.
No, I was part of the medical team.
All right, members, so we will just to remind you, so we're going to, can you remind me, Committee Clerk, what was when we left Ministry of Labor, what were the items we were looking at when we left it? Because it's been almost a month since we have had a meeting. All right, we're going to have to look back at the circulated minutes. They're not for, we didn't plan to take them today. But what we'll do before next week, we'll just go back and just remind everybody so that we can refresh ourselves. We all have the documents, although we may not have looked at it in a little while, so that we can be ready come next week, Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Any other comments? If not, can someone move for the adjournment? Okay, Member Sibley's. Date of next meeting is next Tuesday. What date is that? The 30th at 10 o'clock here. Thank you. Did I have a seconder for the motion? Member Wilson. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I know. It is purely